You're going to be broke down before you get elevated up. God going to break, he going to bless you, he going to break you, and then he going to distribute you to everybody else. You better understand that concept. He blessed you. What he say? Whom he did call, he did what? Justify. You get called, and then you get justified, but then there's also a step before you get glorified. Look at somebody and say, you got to go through something to get that part. Because anybody, because the Bible tells us many are called. He going to call you and justify why he called you, but do you make it to the point of being glorified? Can he give you some of his glory? Because with that comes something else. You ain't going to get God glory until you get his suffering too. Jesus said he learned obedience through what? His suffering. He learned some stuff. Only way he could learn it was through suffering. Look at 2 or 3 people and say, you got to go through this. You sit around here avoiding these tests. I don't want to say too much around this one. Let me tell you something. If whatever God ordained you to go through, you can delay it, but you can't deny it. It's going to happen. Amen. You church hoppers, you got that vagabond spirit? You think you can go down here and it's going to be a little better? Whatever problem or demon you running from, it's going to be there. It's already there. It ain't following you. It's already there. I almost slipped and said something. Well, my sister-in-law back there, she agreeing with me. What's going on with you? Well, you must have went through something, huh? Oh, so we on one accord now? Man, what they did today. She supposed to be back there. I ain't trying to hear that. No, she talking about, oh, yeah, okay. I'm with you now. You done went through something. Go ahead. Where we at? Verse 14?
Yes, sir. For together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them.
Okay, so God dwelling in you. This takes us back to Isaiah. Because now God is in you. And he's trying to conform you to the image of his son. That means you got to take on every. Look at 2 or 3 people and say, you got to suffer. And it's coming from the house. What are these wounds in thy hand? What happened to you? He said, I thought my enemies was going to do this to me. But look at somebody, they were somebody close. So God gave us a remedy. And until you really understand what God is saying, you'll be stuck right on this level right here. Let's go to verse 17. He said, wherefore come out from among them and be separate. God trying to call people out who don't want to separate. And that oftentimes that person that you are struggling with getting away from, God will cause conflict to come and cause y'all. That's why it's better to leave and retain some type of relationship. Because if God go in there and bust it up, it might be 2 or 3 years y'all get back straight again. Because when he busts it up, he gonna bust it up. I'm not man. It's gonna be tears on both sides. God. When the man of God tell you to cut something loose and you don't cut it loose, and listen, ain't nobody saying it's easy. When you have an emotional connection to you see it in the Bible. God told Abraham to go. He did not tell him to take Lot. So we know that there is a struggle, but look what happened. Because Lot lost his wife. Because he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. When God want to bless you, you got to go. You can only take what God allowed you to take, nothing less. If he tell you I'm going to bless you by yourself, and you bring anybody with you, you can cause harm on that individual. Abraham should have told Lot, no, you stay back and let God bless you here, because he told me to leave. Matter of fact, he told me to get away from you, but yet Abraham bought him. Lot lost his wife. You don't never win when you disobey God. You don't win. And now, knowing Abraham had to live with that for the rest of his life, because Abraham knew God came to him and gave him specific instructions. You got to get away from these folks, and you got to let me do what I got to do. But I can only do it when you separate from them. And this is where a lot of y'all stuck at right here, because you can't separate. You look at the example that we got. Bishop McLeod running around doing ministry, and most of the time he by himself. He loves his wife like everybody else, but he got a job to do. And there are times where he got to go by himself. There's times when he can bring her. There's other times where he got to go by himself. There's times where you can be with your friends and get certain things accomplished. You can be with your brothers and sisters in Christ and get certain things accomplished. And then they're going to come that time where God said, this between me and you. And whatever you bring with you after he told you, I want you put that person in a position to lose something. And some of y'all just like a crackhead. You take a hit and you get stuck. You can't even move. You stuck. You can't separate. And it don't be forever. It be for a period of time, long enough for him to bless you. Because once the promises of God was given to Abraham, he did, for one, after what God did to him, for him, he didn't want to go back. God will do something for you that whatever he tell you to walk away from, when he get through blessing you, you ain't going to want that back no more. We was on our way down there to New Orleans, and we was driving and looking at the beautiful countryside, and then we went over this long bridge, and all this pretty water and houses and stuff down there, and Bernice whipped out her phone. I knew then she ain't used to sugar head. She's traveling. She had to leave one thing, but then she experiencing all this stuff that she never